United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. That was awesome.
Secretary Bruce, would you give the invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, we thank you again for this opportunity to gather together in the Rotary Fellowship. We thank you all our guests that are here to join us. We look forward to this program that's going to be presented.
Okay,
Watch our servicemen who are providing us our freedoms, and watch over our fellow Rotarians are able to join us. Help us always remember our motto, service above self. This we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Enjoy your lunch. So I want to welcome everybody to Rotary. Welcome today for this kind of long anticipated celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. It's really a treat for me because I'm the past president. Our current president is at home observing a Jewish holiday, so I am filling in his stead, and I get that distinct honor. But he wanted me to read a speech that he had written for the occasion, so I'm going to do that now. Dear fellow Rotarians, Interact students, friends, and our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Deborah Ramirez. I first want to thank the committee that put this special luncheon together. Saraton, Madeline, Almy, Juan, and Aaron. I'm sorry that I cannot be with you in person today, but I certainly want to be with you in spirit by honoring the contributions of American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central and South America. For instance, Ellen Ochoa, Mexican-American, is the first Latina astronaut in space. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Puerto Rican-American, is the creator of the Broadway musicals Hamilton and In the Heights. When I was growing up, we all wanted to play baseball like Roberto Clemente of Pittsburgh Pirates. Roberto Clemente was from Puerto Rico and first Hispanic inductee into the Baseball Hall of Fame. But the person I'd like to focus on today is Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who was the third woman and the first Latina to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. Justice Sotomayor is the daughter of Puerto Rican-born parents, and she grew up in New York City. What many people may not be aware about Justice Sotomayor is that she wrote a book entitled Just Help: How to Build a Better World. Though it is written for middle school age children, her message resonates for all ages, teenagers and adults. I would like to read a couple of paragraphs from the introduction of the book. Ever since I was a young child, I remember my mother helping others. As a nurse, she went to work every day in a hospital for people who were ill. She was also a good neighbor, helping friends with their medications and driving others to the doctor. Day after day, and person after person, she made her neighborhood, her city, and the wider world a better place. She lived a life of service. Justice Sotomayor goes on to say that every day you can make a difference by helping someone. Each time you do, you become part of something bigger than yourself. It may start small, at first by helping younger siblings or cousins learn to tie their shoes or bringing cookies to a new neighbor. then it can grow from there when you start to see the world is one very large neighborhood, and that there is a lot we all need to do to make it healthy, safe, and clean for everyone. Changes in the world don't always happen in giant leaps. It takes every one of us purposefully looking at the world around us and say, how do I make it better? If we each did that, we would be living in a better world. As we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, I hope we all take Justice Sotomayor's words to heart. For our Interact Club students in particular, you can play a vital role in making Chelsea a better place to live, one day at a time. Thank you. I just want to say, first of all, how proud I am of our Latino students who come today, and our guests, and really our entire community here in Chelsea. There's something very special about Chelsea. And I'll tell you, I'm especially throughout the pandemic when we saw people rise to the occasion, and the Latino community was out there in front as well. So really, thank you, and I want you to all know how proud we all are of you. So thank you for coming in, and let's celebrate. Okay, Sarah, would you please come up and start our program?
Thank you, Mark. And it's Saritin. Saritin. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Saritin Rizzuto. There's not very many of you that don't know me in the room, but yes, the students, Saritin Rizzuto. I am originally from the Dominican Republic. I am an immigrant that came to this country when I was just 8 years old. I am proud of my Latino heritage and all that it represents, the texture of my hair, the copper tone on my skin, what sometimes my mom would refer to as piel canela, café con leche. But what truly makes me who I am, y lo que levanta mi espíritu a diario, is what lives within my soul. Our music, our food, nuestras costumbres, the vibrancy and resilience of our people, our ability to adapt to a culture so different from everything we know while continuing to keep our cultura alive. It is truly an honor to join all of you today and see all of our guests as we celebrate Hispanic Heritage. Hispanic Heritage Month actually began as a commemorative week when it was first introduced in June 1968. The push to recognize contributions of the Latino community had gained momentum throughout the 1960s when the civil rights movement was at its peak. And there was a growing awareness of the United States' multicultural identities. From 1968 until 1988, President Nixon, Ford, Carter, and Reagan all issued a yearly proclamation, setting aside a week to honor Hispanic Americans. In 1987, U.S. Representative Esteban E. Torres of California proposed that the observance be expanded to cover its current 31-day period. In 1988, Senator Paul Simon submitted a similar bill that successfully passed Congress and was signed into law by President Ronald Reagan. On September 14, 1989, President George H.W. Bush became the first president to declare the 31-day period from September 15 to October 15 as National Hispanic Heritage Month. The timing of Hispanic Heritage Month coincides with the Independence Day celebrations of several Latin American nations. September 15th was chosen as the kickoff because it coincides with the Independence Day celebration of 5 Central American countries. Those are Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. All declared their independence from Spain on September 15, 1821. But before that, on September 16, 1810, Mexico declared its independence from Spain. And on September 18, 1810, Chile declared its independence from Spain. The 21 countries that we celebrate today are Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Equatorial Guinea, Guatemala, Honduras, México, Nicaragua, Panamá, Paraguay, Perú, Puerto Rico, Spain, Uruguay, and Venezuela. In the past decade, the Latino population has grown by 23%. That's more than 3 times the increase in the nation's population as a whole. Contrary to what many suspect, the growth has not been driven by immigration. It is due instead to the 9.3 million babies born between 2010 and 2019. Latino children are the fastest growing segment of the U.S. population. This growth makes us the largest minority group in the country. Latino residents in Massachusetts make up to 12% of the Massachusetts population. The 2022 Hispanic Heritage Month observance theme is Unidos, Inclusivity for a Stronger Nation. It encourages us to ensure that all voices are represented, treated equal, and welcomed. This helps build stronger communities and a stronger nation. Thank you all, and now I will call up Aaron.
What a privilege and honor it is to be here on this great occasion. Such a delight to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. I must admit, this morning I arrived from Panama to go on a global competency trip, and it was amazing. And to see all the culture vibrancy that was there, my heart and my face is smiling. Before I introduce the speaker, I would love if all of our CHS students stand up. All of them stand up. And just muy rápido, share your name, your grade, and your heritage. And I'm going to start with one. Yes, name, grade, and heritage. You project today, what do you think?
My name is Beatrix. I'm in 10th grade. And
You're what? Brazilian, great.
Hi, my name is Genesis. I'm a senior at Rotary High School, and I am from Berlin.
Hi, my name is Clenny Reyes. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm from the Dominican Republic.
Hi, so my name is Jimmy. I'm Salvadorian. I'm a Chelsea High School student. I'm a junior.
Hi, my name is Carla. I'm a senior at Chelsea High, and I'm Salvadorian.
My name is Minix. I'm a senior at Rotary High, and I'm Puerto Rican.
Hello, my name is Ariana. I'm a junior, and I'm from Honduras.
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm a senior at Chelsea High, and I'm Guatemalan.
My name is Jose. I'm a junior, and I'm from Honduras.
Thank you all so very much. I'm going to jump right into the bio of our speaker. Then after that, I think we'll hear from Ellen. All right. So we have the amazing, the rock star, Professor Deborah Ramirez, who is a professor of law, chair of the Criminal Justice Task Force, and co-faculty director for the Center for Law, Equity, and Race, CLEAR. I won't share the year you graduate. I'll let you do that. My mother told me better than that. But your undergrad degree is from Northwestern, and your JD is from Harvard. Professor Ramirez is a criminal justice expert. Students as an expert, you have to have more than 10 years of study. So she has numerous years of study behind that to be considered an expert. She teaches criminal justice for first-year students and advanced course in criminal justice, race, and reform. She also actively engages the student body in topics related to criminal justice, criminal law, and works on strategies and initiatives to inform the criminal justice system. Beyond this, she works extensively with the Northeastern's Latin American Law Student Association. Professor Ramirez frequently works with the Academy, law enforcement, politicians, community leaders to ensure police accountability. She has testified numerous times before U.S. House of Representatives, state legislators about issues related to race, related issues, written about these issues from national media outlets, including the Boston Globe, has been interviewed on ABC News, Good Morning America, NPR, and quoted in the Washington Post, and risk insurance levels. Wow. Also published numerous articles on criminal justice in leading journals, including the American Journal of Criminal Law, Temple Political and Civil Rights Review, and Georgetown University American Criminal Law Review. Professor Ramirez is the chair and founder of the Northeastern Law Criminal Justice Task Force, which brings together academics, lawyers, judges, allies, focused on a myriad of criminal justice reform issues, including exploring the historical roots of racial disparities and mass incarceration, trying to harness the full strength of reentry networks, bail reform, restorative justice practices, and juvenile justice issues. Professor Ramirez is also faculty co-director for the Center for Law, Equity, Race, which nurtures existing networks and actively engages in creating new ones that support the mandate to enrich and reform the national discourse on reparative justice and criminal reform, and build additional strength in racial justice research and practice. Without further ado, that I introduce my colleague and friend. Before Professor Ramirez come up. I'm sorry, Professor Ramirez, it's all yours. I do apologize.
Oh, all this time I thought you were a real estate agent.
It is a pleasure to be here today and to celebrate with you Hispanic Heritage Month. I want to thank our team and the Chelsea Rotary Club for including me in this event here today. I want to begin my comments today by talking about advice that my mother gave me. She was my muse, she was my hero, and she ran our household. She did not speak English until first grade, and she had a tough road. It took her until I was in college to finish school because she did so at night. But she persevered, and she always had good advice for me. So one day I came home and I was pretty upset and distraught and in tears. And she asked me what happened, and I said, well, today was the day that we were filling out our forms that would ask us about what colleges we wanted to go to and what careers we wanted to pursue. And the form asked us to list the occupation that we would be studying for. And I went to a Catholic all-girls school, and I put down lawyer. So that's what I wanted to be. And the nun who was supervising this exercise crossed it out on my form. And she put legal secretary. And she said that was more likely for someone like me. And she said the degree that most of you girls are going to get is, she turned behind to the blackboard and put MRS. I was devastated. And my mom looked me in the eye. And she said to me, Deva, never forget what I'm about to tell you. Those nuns don't know you. They don't know your abilities, and they don't know your potential. You can be anything you want to be. You know who you are. You know you have the will and capacity to make your dreams come true. So, don't listen to them. never give up on yourself and your dreams. There are always people out there who want to tell us what we cannot do. It helps to be a little deaf. Ignore them. Show them how wrong you can be. And always, always follow your dream. You want to be a lawyer? She said. Si se puede. Yes, you can. And with those words written upon my heart, I finished a pre-law program at Northwestern and eventually graduated from Harvard Law School. And when I graduated from Harvard Law School, it was a big deal in my family. I was the first lawyer in my family. I was the first person to go to a full-time 4-year college. My parents had gone to community colleges and then they finished up at night elsewhere. My grandfather came to that graduation. And on the day I graduated, there was my grandfather in Harvard Yard, a man who had worked as a busboy, as a factory worker, and in meat packing facilities. And he pulled me aside, and he said, Deborah, always remember that I was the fertilizer. You are the tree. My life was hard, so yours could be easier. Use your gifts to make this world a little bit better than you found it. Now, I share this story often because I know all of you, every single person in this room, has stories like this. Times when people told you you would never get to the place you wanted to go. And because of the hardships endured by our parents and grandparents, here we are. How many of you have been told, raise your hand, sometime in your life that you weren't good enough, smart enough, couldn't get where you wanted to go? Anyone? Yeah. And that's why I'm here to talk to you today. Because I wish someone had come to me when I was your age and had said, don't listen to them. Right? And here we are. And I want to leave you with hope because there are a lot fewer people telling young Latinas they can't be lawyers anymore. Or that if they do become lawyers, as I was told, who would hire you? As Martin Luther King said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. To those of you here who are still dreaming, never give up. My second story is about one of my first interviews when I finally graduated from Harvard Law School. So I was interviewing for a position as an assistant U.S. attorney, my dream job, in the Boston U.S. Attorney's Office. And I began with Bill Weld, who later would become governor of this state. And he interviewed me. But the critical interview was with Bob Mueller. Now, Bob would later become the FBI director and would later write the Mueller report that detailed Russian interference with our 2016 election. But back then, he was in Boston, and he was the head of the criminal division. And that's who I had to convince to hire him. At the time, he had just arrived from California to take this job. And he began the interview by asking me, how would I feel about prosecuting Latinx community members for immigration violations? I stared at him and I said, are you asking every applicant that question or only me because I'm Latina? And by the way, Bob, here in Boston, the U.S. Attorney's Office doesn't prosecute immigration cases criminally. They may do that in California, but we don't do it here. And he said, oh. looked at my resume and said, well, I see you graduated from Harvard and now you're at Hale and Dorr. And I assume that because you're Hispanic, you're going to make partner there if you stay. Are you really going to take this job when you're on track to being partner in a major firm in the city? I shot back. Bob, you're from California, and I don't know how things are done there, but I'm here in Boston, and I'm the only Latinx lawyer at Hale and Dorr. And if I make partner, it will be because I've worked hard, demonstrated extraordinary litigation skills, prepared, written, and researched cogent briefs, and exhibited a strong work ethic. Finally, I noticed you don't have a single Latinx lawyer in the criminal division that you are now head of. Yet many of your organized crime and narcotics cases have Latinx witnesses whose primary language is Spanish. You're going to need a Spanish-speaking lawyer to do those cases effectively, and I can add value to your team. Now, folks, I'll tell you the truth. At the end of that interview, I did not think it had gone well. Nor did I think I would get the job. But I was pleasantly surprised. And I report to you, they hired me. And I was an assistant U.S. attorney for many years. And loved Bob Mueller and Bill Weld, by the way. They are great people. This was just not a good beginning. But later, when I asked Bill Weld why he hired me, this was years later, he said, at the end of the day, you know, we had all these candidates and all these resumes in front of us, and they all blurred. We couldn't even remember who was who. But we all remembered you. You were tough and feisty and driven, and you weren't intimidated by Bob. You helped him understand the challenges you faced, and we were impressed, and we thought you'd be able to hold your ground against older, aggressive, more experienced defense lawyers in court. And from this, I learned something. Sometimes you need to speak truth to power, even if you suspect your truth is unwelcome and may not be heard. Be polite, be respectful, but be strong and be feisty. Here's my third story, and my last. This story is from the Jewish tradition. My late husband, Ralph Gantz, was the first Jewish Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. He died 2 years ago, unexpectedly. Both of our children were bar and bat mitzvah, and I went to all the Jewish religious education classes by default. And one of them is seared in my memory. The rabbi was talking to the children and all of us, the adults in the audience, and he held up this beautiful globe of the world, and it was glass, and the light from the temple reflected on it, and he held it high, and he said, "This is how God made the world." And then he dropped it on the floor and it shattered. He said, "And this is the world as it is. Broken. Now each of you take a piece of this shattered glass and tell me what you are prepared to do to repair the world." And that is what Judaism is about, he told us. To come along, repairing the world. This lesson has always stayed with me because we do live in a very broken world. A world in which we and the Latinx community have experienced extraordinary trauma. 4 years of a national dialogue infused with anti-Latinx, anti-immigration, and racist rhetoric. The insurrection, over 2 years of a pandemic, Putin's invasion of Ukraine, and the overruling of Roe v. Wade. How do we repair this world? What can or should we do as a community to make our country a fairer and better place? From my Jewish rabbi I learned, repair, repair. And so I challenge each of you to imprint this on your heart. Life is long. I'm 67 years old. And I challenge each of you to promise yourself that when you can, maybe not today, but when you can, you will find a way to repair the world. With small acts of kindness and encouragement, with advocacy for the vulnerable and the marginalized, with courage to stand up for what you believe in, and to stand beside those who need a friend, or a hug, or a shout out. Today there is much to celebrate. This Rotary Club, this community, Chelsea, and you are the future of the Latinx community. And I know you will do great things. But there is also much more to do. Our country is a participatory democracy. And if we want our voices heard, we have to participate. Our strength is in our numbers, in our spirit, and in our community. We are 20% of the Boston population. We are 11% of the Massachusetts population. Our destiny is our demographics. But the critical building block in a two-party system is getting 51% of the vote. To do that, we're going to have to build coalitions with other constituencies. And if we successfully build the coalitions we need, we can begin to ensure that our voices are heard in the political arena, in the business arena, in the courthouse, and in the halls of power. Can we build the necessary coalitions and play a part in our next election? Si podemos, yes we can. So here is my message. Keep bending the arc of the moral universe towards justice. And to those of you here today, keep showing up. Keep coming to events like this. Keep supporting the Rotary Club. Keep volunteering. Keep participating. Do what you can when you can. Study. Learn. And remember that 99% of success is hard work. These are the values that will help you achieve your dreams. I hope that all of us will continue to come together, to recognize our shared strength, to engage in creating structural changes to advance the Latinx community here in Massachusetts. Our community is our strength, and we are always stronger together. Adelante juntos, forward together. Thank you.
Rotary Club, we'd like to, first of all, thank you for honoring us with your presence, beautiful stories, and we'd like to present to you a gift from the Chelsea Rotary Club.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So right now, we're going to shift back into the, yes sir, Secretary's,
I'll take it. Yeah. Secretary's report, please.
Yes, thank you, President Cobb. We do have a couple birthdays. Unfortunately, neither one are here to join us. Reverend Sandra Whitley and Charlene Bauer. And we do have an anniversary, Rotary anniversary, Patrick, 2003. Hey, Patrick. The next reading, which is November 1st, we do need another reader to help Brian, because Barbara signed up for it. Barbara's not available, so we need somebody to volunteer to work with Brian for, because you're scheduled for November. November 1st, we need that. And check my notes. I think that takes care of. I want you to introduce the guests that we have not met.
Absolutely.
So,
So,
we have just, sorry, Joe, you introduce your guest?
Oh, yeah, I have a guest, my sister,
Sorry, man.
Carol Zazula.
if our guests can stand up, Chief Keith Holton. Werner Diaz. Chelsea Chamber of Commerce, our own very Ben. I believe that's all our guests.
To Malik Haushin and locally for our sponsors
Oh, yes.
for Just Focus with Accuracy.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to thank one more person, Mr. Ricky Velez behind the camera. He always does yeoman's work, so thank you, sir. Okay. So, for our visitors, we're just going to do a brief happy and sad, if we can go very quickly.
Great. Joe, I'm going to come to you first. Also, you have a couple of fines for the cell phone as well.
Okay. I'm not sure when I got the hold on.
And for our students, you don't have to participate or whatnot. This is something for Rotarians. This is if you want to, you can.
Dr. Aaron will put the money in.
Here's my fine, my contribution.
Find a contribution.
Okay. Thanks for being here and welcome to our guests. Excuse me, start over. Glad to be here. Welcome to our guests and happy to participate in this event here today.
Thank you, Joe.
And so, Aaron, there's a little confusion around here. Could you give us a little introduction to what Happy and Sad means and what the heck we're doing?
Yes, so Happy and Sad, at its core, fundraiser, the funds that we collect here help our altruistic needs for the community. But it also gives a time for Rotarians to share highlights of the course of the week. And so, if you want to participate, you can. But if you don't, you can abstain, and we still love you and support you in those areas. Did I miss anything, Secretary Bruce or President Salisbury? Thank you.
Oh. No, in fact, I let everybody else borrow. I'm just very happy to be here and, to welcome our Interact students. Thank you, Aaron, and your team for making it happen, as well as our fabulous guests. Thank you for sharing that. Every time I hear your story, it's just so moving and inspiring. And I know that the students feel the same way. And I want to also thank Peru for coming, our guests, Peru and Jen, and you already mentioned the chief, Myrna. And then last, I never have sad daughters because it's just too much happiness in my life. I'd rather focus on that. Anyway, I'm just very grateful for everything. But I am very happy that my daughter made the finals in her hockey tournament over the weekend. And she's the goalie, and she's a tough cookie, and I'm very proud of her. And
my mom.
but yeah, so and then we've been apple picking, and we had a great weekend. So yeah, that's.
I was going to just, thank you.
Thank you. Happy.
Yes.
Happy.
Very excited to have all of our guests here today. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And happy to have everyone, students, just happy dollars.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. This was one of the most inspiring meetings we've had in a long time. It was very, very upbeat, and it was so nice to be able to share it with the Interact students and our other guests. Thank you very much for making this happen.
Interact students, I see you have dog this.
We're just happy to be here. We're very grateful for guys accepting us in your space. The food was amazing. Probably will take another slice of that cake.
Go right.
My school does not feed me like this. But it was amazing. Thank you guys so much.
No, we did not. I'd like to have you on here.
All right, it's all good. Holly made it home from Poland, so that was nice. I was glad to see that. And this is our 7th annual apple cider party this weekend. So it's mostly a kids' party at the moment, kind of a necessity with where the kids are right now. But if anyone's looking for something to do, we'll be pressing cider on Main Street. That's all good.
Gavin. The man that taught us all the difference between the types of shirts that we can have and what shirts wick wetness off of an odor. So
Happy to welcome all our guests here today. I've had a quiet week, which is a good thing. I'm happy to be here.
Missed a few weeks of meetings, busy at the office, but glad I could come back to participate in this event, and also for my 19th anniversary to be married.
Bruce, I'm coming to you, good sir.
Pleasure as always to be here. It was an excellent presentation. We thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was great to see all of these really interact students here, and just happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Missed a couple meetings. I was in Sarasota during the hurricane, and just to give you a brief thing about accents and the way people talk. My cousin said there was a downed tree on the road. My cousin kept saying, the tree guys will be here in a half an hour, tree guys. And I'm like, okay. And to myself, I said, what are 3 more guys going to do on this job? Close the tree service guys. It was 6 guys with big chainsaws.
Okay, welcome to all our guests, and it's nice to be here today. And this past week, the Rotary volunteered to have to read at the schools for literacy month or year, whatever. And I was privileged to be one of the first readers, along with President Todd. We went to the Kelly School and read to the 2nd grade class, and I'll tell you, it was quite a unique experience having all these little 8 and 9-year-olds come in and sit there wide-eyed looking at you while you read to them a story. And it was very inspiring, and I would tell all the rest of my Rotarian friends to take part in this endeavor, and it is really very good. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know Professor was meant for the students, but I've only been a chief for 1 day, and I'm not expecting going back to the station now. So for the students, please listen. That was like a Duke Rockney football speech that doesn't provide you with energy, knowing the future is bright. So awesome. Thank you, Cyber Team, for inviting me. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much.
If I can do also a privilege of requesting that you take a picture with our students, you and our guest speaker, before you all leave. If you take a picture with our students, I would really appreciate it. And as with our Dr. David.
And so thank you to the committee for putting together a fabulous program. Professor, your remarks were inspiring. I must say, though, that when I was at Boston University Law School 40-odd years ago, your school was known as the school across the river. But it's good to know that the friendly competition still exists. And some of you know I just returned from a 9-day vacation out west to the national parks and Las Vegas, but we won't talk about that. And just to show the universality of Rotary, I was walking in Zion National Park, and a woman said, I was wearing that Chelsea Rotary hat. And a woman said, you're a Rotarian? My husband is a Rotarian. She called him over, we took a picture together, and his name was Jonathan from the Redlands, California Rotary Club. And it's just wonderful. I know Alan talks about those things all the time. It's great to identify as a Rotarian wherever you are. And thank you to all the young people who are attending today. It's
And
really
that's why I always wear my Rotary pin.
Yeah, but the hat is easier for us older. Like that.
Yes, no, for you older people it is.
Wait, I'll put it in at the top.
Covers a multitude of sins.
Juan Gallego.
Doctora Ramirez, so inspired. Thank you so much. I'm really happy that everybody's here, all the students, and I hope you really gain something from that speech. It was good. Thanks so much.
Rockstar student.
I also want to thank you for the speech that you gave. I really enjoyed your stories, and I can relate a lot to it. Thank you for having us.
Just glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mac Hauschen. En español, por favor.
I'll do it both. We'll do it both. So I wanted to say thank you for the invitation, for having the students here. I'm new to Chelsea. I started last year as the district coordinator for extended learning. We had a partnership, and I think this is what we had a partnership up in the Merrimack Valley. I started the Special Olympics up there, and Rotary was our partner in that work. When I interviewed with Assistant Superintendent Angelini, I said, "You guys have Special Olympics?" And he's like, "No." I said, "Well, you did it up in Methuen." He's like, "Can you do that here?" I said, "Yeah." And then as we've gone through last year, one of the things we know that we need to do is build up this kind of service learning army of volunteers, especially at the high school and middle school level. With the invitation here, with the coordination with Rotary Club and the Interact Club, we're on that journey. So I hope to be here next year talking about us putting together the Special Olympics with the support of our students and with the support of Rotary. So I want to thank you. Gracias a todos. Estamos con la aventura juntitos para estar en servicio de Chelsea. Es un placer. Yo vengo de años todos los días y es un placer. Bueno, el tráfico, pero está bien porque tengo cara de sonrisa siempre. Es un placer, gracias.
I'm Kuru Feja from Harbour Cove. Thank you, Sheraton, for inviting me and Julia.
It's the Rotary Club. The Rotary Club invited you, so you're all Rotary guests. And I'm happy, yeah.
She's hoping not to get billed for all of
Then I won't have any more dollars. And it's great to see young people here, and also your speech was inspiring. I know I'm not that young, but I'm still inspired. And I also want to thank Rotarians for supporting the kids of Chelsea and Hamburg Rotary. Thank you so much.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much for having me. All Rotarians, it's wonderful. I hope the school year is going well for all of the kids. And yeah, thank you again.
So congratulations to the committee. Great event today. Welcome to all of our guests, the students, the community leaders that are here. And the professors' comments certainly teach us that it's never too late for old dogs to learn new tricks.
Hi everyone, just thank you so much for having me, Rotary Club, and I just want to say how impressed I am by all the students here. Me da mucho orgullo, solo porque la hija mía va a empezar la escuela de high school el año que viene. So my daughter, my youngest, is getting ready to start the high school, Chelsea High School. So she'll be the fourth one in our family to start the high school. She's super excited. She's been a classmate of Hazel's since they were in the Early Learning Center. And I just want to give her a shout out. She made Student Athlete of the Week last week.
Text it to Bruce. Text it to Bruce. Past President Todd. So, a couple things. I want to make sure that I encourage all the Rotarians who have not signed up for the reading program. Like Frank had said, it was a real delight to do so. It really, it's not just doing public service is not just good for the people you're performing the service for. It's good for you. It's good for your own soul. It's good for your heart. Making the world a better place, just one little thing at a time, really does make the difference, and that's what Rotary is all about. And I wanted to, echo everybody else who said, your comments were so inspiring, and they are. I want to echo it to our Interact kids. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. This is America. You can do whatever you set out to do. And don't let anybody tell you anything. Okay? So, thank you.
We didn't do a wrap of the day.
What about you, Mr. Sargent?
Yeah, oh, it's me, yes. So I have to do an how are you, because I don't have cash.
That was convenient.
No, that was, I forgot. Because I spent all my cash in Panama. Wait. Thank you, sir. I'll give it back to you. Happy. Such a delight to see this room filled with people. Professor, your speech was amazing. I felt like I had an opportunity to kind of bask in your shadow. I was feeling, just looking at your kind of vibes from you as well too. I don't know if anyone else felt those kind of vibes, but I did. So just thank you all. Thank you. And Professor and Chief, I would really love for you all to have people to the audience. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to go to Juan Gallego. Please tell everybody about your project.
Okay, so due to the hurricanes that have happened in Florida and Puerto Rico, our Rotary Club is going to do a fundraiser, and we could use our young students' help. We're going to do an event at my house. We're going to have to get a lot of restaurants in the area involved, so they will donate food, and we're going to invite the community to come to the house and raise some money. And with that money, we're going to send it to a Rotary Club in Puerto Rico and a Rotary Club in Florida. Whatever we raise, we'll send it. We've done it before. I encourage everyone in my club, all the members, to help me with this project, and our young students as well. We'll give you a little more information about that. So it's a service about self. We are privileged to be here and not having, still have a roof over our heads. People that are suffering, and we need to do this quickly because we can wait too long to help them. They need the help now. So I'm really excited about it, and this week and next week we put it together. Dr. Ramirez, tomorrow my daughter invited me to come with her for an open house. She's a senior, so I'm so happy to accompany her in this future journey that she's taking, and she has mentioned law on one of her careers that she's probably approaching. So thank you so much. I am so excited about your speech. It was very, very inspiring. Thank you.
Okay, we are just making it in under the wire, so let's all Rotarians. Oh, yeah. I don't know what you're.
I put money away. I'm folding up the money.
We're gonna do the four-way test. Okay. So of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it true? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? We've added a fifth, and that is, will it be fun?